The second one,
Please
because
tell.
the first one, I figured that I knew everything, and I would use the same people and they would take care of me. Like as far as my contractors and stuff. And I hired one guy that I knew. He was actually uh, a mutual friend, and I trusted them. And then I got burned. So
How so?
I paid them weekly. Don't do that ever. Paid them by the job. It took 4 weeks longer than it was supposed to. And I'm a very compassionate, laid back guy. And the fact that I knew this person was just an added on, it was just stressful for me. And so I got burned. We'll just put it that way. I trusted somebody I shouldn't have trusted, and it was my fault, but,
Same thing happened to me when I was living in New York City, and I bought my fourth house. The first three did not need renovations. The fourth one, I got a little cocky. Even though I was living in New York, I bought in Texas, and the first three were in Texas. That was fine. But the fourth was in Texas, needed work. I hired a family friend of mine, a family friend's family member who I knew really, really well, grew up with. And they took me behind the woodshed and just beat me with the delays of the project, and went like $15,000 over budget. I had no clue what I was doing, and it doesn't matter. I mean, you learn the same thing. It doesn't matter if you know them or not. You have to have an alignment of interest and structure it properly.
Yep.
So instead of paying weekly like you did, now how do you pay contractors?
Basically it's, obviously per job, per item. We'll have a spreadsheet now to where if we're changing out per door, like this is how much I pay per door. If it's not Joe, it's going to be Bob. Bob, if you don't want this job, then I'll pay Joe per door this amount of money.
What do you mean per door?
So like if we're going to a pre-hung door. So if let's say I charge, I'm going to pay you $50 to hang a pre-hung door, regardless if that's Joe or Billy. It really just depends on who wants the job. I tally it all up and I'm saying, hey, this is how much this job pays. Who wants it? And, most of the time it's the same people that ask for it, because they're the people that are hungry and they're willing to work. And, you got to deal with stuff. I mean, contractors are probably the hardest part of this whole business,
Yes.
Especially if they start trying to get buddy with you and stuff like that. And you start getting emotions attached to it. You have to break that off. But
so you have identified what each task will cost and what you're willing to pay for it. And you go to the contractors and you say, here's what needs to be done. Here's how much I'll pay you per task. And do you want this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you also pay them up front, or do you pay them a little bit up front and then you never pay a penny up front so they can buy supplies or anything?
No, not unless. So the way that my out-of-state people work, and I've learned this through experience too, is the only people that I will pay up front is like flooring people with carpet that are installing carpet and stuff like that. Just because that kind of makes sense. And it's only like $60 up front, especially if you're buying it at Home Depot or Lowe's or what have you. That's the only money up front. We'll put everything else, materials, everything we paid for separately. So we actually paid for. Home Depot has a cool thing where you set it up. They have a text to confirm. You scan everything, and then it sends to the office's cell phone number, and they click confirm payment. And so it's all simple. Contractors they'll upcharge everything that they can.